Thanks, Craig, and thanks for hosting. I understand that this has been a breakfast sponsored by the Masters of Internet Technology, Craig's division, so thanks so much for doing that. And it's great to be part of TAG in this day and age because technology is so robust in Georgia. I've been telling as many people as I can that in the 10 years that I've been with TAG, this is the best time that we've seen in terms of Georgia. All of the stars are aligning in respect to what's happening for our businesses and job growth in our state.
We are really excited to be here today. The Intersect Group is Atlanta headquartered, national in scope, and our primary focus is around serving CIOs and CTOs as it relates between the intersect of technology and business. And we know that with emerging technologies, those folks are challenged every single day with trying to bring business solutions into their organizations that embrace change and to move and propel their organizations forward and to work at the board level to make sure that their companies are prepared for the disruptive technologies that are coming into the market. As a business leader, it's really my responsibility to make sure that our company's core strategies are supported with initiatives that have technology embedded in each and every one of them. And that's something that we talk to our clients about, and that as technologists in the room, is really, really challenging to stay current and keep your eye focused on the sustainability of your own business. And now it's about making sure you understand what's happening in technology as it relates to all sectors and how, and David will probably talk about this, how life is being led now in the margins. And that if your business isn't moving towards change constantly and thinking about how to reinvent yourself, you're going to get beat by a kid in a garage somewhere. And here in Atlanta particularly, the market is incredibly hot for technology. Our team would tell you that recruits technology expertise for our clients, that every day when we provide a candidate with an offer of employment somewhere, they generally have 3 or 4 others on the table at the same time. And so we know that by 2018 in the U.S., there will be 1.2 million jobs unfilled in the STEM sector. And we are here, and I'm excited about the opportunity to lead the Intersect Group towards solving some of those challenges here in Atlanta with various partners you're going to see today.
It's great to be in Atlanta. It's not a city I'm terribly familiar with, but I'm getting more familiar with it, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. We at Techonomy really are of technology, but we're really trying to sort of use what we do to kind of bring a different lens to business itself. Because what we're sort of evangelists for is the idea that everything is being changed by technology. And if you have too facile of a view of what technology is, you're probably going to miss what's really happening in business and society. So we like to talk about Techonomy being about how to use technology to drive progress in business and society. And I increasingly believe that there's nothing that happens in our world that can't be better understood if you look at it through the lens of how technology is part of it. What's interesting about what we're doing, and what I think my journey was, that after writing about the technology industry for many years, I came to believe that it was a more interesting story to look at how technology was transforming society. And in a way, that there's a real connection between what we do at Techonomy and the book that I wrote, which was about Facebook, called The Facebook Effect. And you know, I at the time, I wasn't thinking quite in these terms. I just had met Mark Zuckerberg, and I thought, my God, this is about the most interesting person I've ever met in my life. I better get as close to him as I can. And I successfully did that and was able to, write a book that was the most cooperation he's ever given to anybody. But at a larger level, from my point of view, the reason I wanted to write a book about Facebook after covering tech for 20 years and thinking, oh, should I write a book about IBM? Should I write a book about Microsoft? No. This is the first time I'd seen a company that was so clearly at the core of how society was changing. Innovation now, which is getting so inexpensive and easy, and entrepreneurialism, smart people are taking the tools and essentially putting a little tinder on the fire of change, and change is accelerating. So, when you come back to Techonomy, what I think makes it such an exciting opportunity for us as basically business journalists and business conference organizers in a time of technology change is that nobody understands what's going on. And so we feel like conducting conversations and convening conversations, and have a little bit of that here today, and we do that in our big events, is something that is just urgent. In fact, somebody the other day asked me, did I worry there's too many conferences? And first of all, right now there can't even be too many. Everybody needs to be out there talking to each other more, because however virtual the world is, it's still in places like this that we get the deepest understanding, in my opinion. The pace of change is what I was trying to get at, is the kind of key reason why we feel there's enormous opportunity for us. I want to just briefly point to Simone Ross over there. Where's Josh? Oh, Josh is here, sorry. Josh Campbell, Simone Ross, my two partners at Techonomy. And what we do is put on conferences primarily. We just did one in Detroit, which was a public conference, open to anyone, about 600 people, focused on U.S. issues as they are affected by technology change. And we focus very heavily on the future of jobs, which we think is a very complicated question. We focus a lot on the changing role of cities. We focus a lot on things like how entrepreneurship is changing cities, and how there is this new class of young people that are emerging literally in every city in the world, who come out of college and maybe, or don't even go to college, but they can see it's hard to get a job, so they want to make a job by just making a company. And it's happening at extraordinary scale in Detroit, in Atlanta, and elsewhere. But it really makes it necessary to look at the sort of urban fabric differently, because really this idea of starting companies is becoming the sort of source of energy in society and job creation. Just one thing that I would mention that is sort of a theme that we're talking about a lot in our company is this idea of the end of industries. The notion that if you look too sort of traditionally at business, like unfortunately even many in the business press still do, certainly many on Wall Street still do, and you think in terms of, airlines, power companies, auto companies, garbage collection, any industry, cement, these are not going to have the same forms in the future that they have today. Certainly look at the hotel industry and how Airbnb is essentially redefining what that entire activity is. It isn't necessarily about building giant buildings like the ones in this neighborhood, and staffing them and just waiting for the people to come. It might just be about sharing, and that's something that's going to change a lot of industries. This issue of the U.S. competitiveness and how whether or not you train your students to understand technology, what Tina was saying about Georgia changing the laws for students, very important. And you're ahead of the country in that, by the way. Many of the other developed countries in the world are now requiring at the national level that every student study computer programming just to have some at least familiarity with it. That can't happen in the U.S. because of the way our schools are structured, with local districts being in control. So for Georgia as a state to really start mandating that is just even the fact that you can get credit for it, and believe it or not, that's not possible. In most places, computer science is treated like one of the arts or something. Not that I'm a big believer in the arts, but you can't even get a science credit by studying computer science in almost any high school in America. Not to mention most of them don't even have the teachers. Thank you for hosting Techonomy and allowing us to come down and learn more about your city and state.